of course, one of the issues, as is true with so many, especially people who work in areas that are not how do you say settled science or conventional science. It's really hard to get money, and we need to carry out experiments like that. We need people, and to get people, you have to pay them, a postdoc or a graduate student or something, and it's really hard. And the more our work deviates from mainstream norms, the more difficult it gets. We had a funder, a wealthy individual who found us and said, "Yeah, I like your stuff. I want to fund you." And he did so for I think 6 or 7 years, and he ran into some financial difficulty, and he had to withdraw. So we're now in the position of trying to find support, and it's not so easy to find support. If you're doing something mainstream, it's easy, or if you're doing reasonably decent work. But if you're challenging the mainstream, often if you try to get money from various agencies, federal agencies, and you put a proposal in, typically they're going to get an expert in your field, and those are the very people under challenge, and so it's obvious. It's like if the revolutionaries, French revolutionaries, came to Louis XVI and said, "We got a bone to pick with you." You can expect the response that they get. And it's essentially the same. So to carry out tests of the kind that you'd like, and there are others of similar value, you need people power. And we simply don't have the money to get the people power. We hope that some people who maybe recognize the value of what we're trying to do will help out, but it's a real challenge, I can tell you.
I mean, my guess is that it is an incredibly dynamic thing, and that despite forming crystal structures, I think that is changing relatively fast in terms of the way nature would probably use it as a bit of a storage for energy, but then be able to use that energy and replace it every time.
And therefore, sorry, I wasn't following. Therefore, you think it's stable or not?
No, thinking that it's dynamic.
Dynamic. Okay. Well,
there's energies all, and it would help me understand how water can be a conductor, right? Because if it didn't, it wouldn't conduct as well if there was a zone that did not have that charge.
Right? Well, yeah. So the question is, what is the conductivity of this material, of EZ? And it's not so easy to measure or to decide what it ought to be. If you've got electrons in there, and the zone is typically negatively charged, and those electrons are freely movable, it might be that it has an extremely high conductivity. But if everything is stuck and immobile, then it would have low conductivity. So I think these experiments actually do need to get done. It's just like the experiments you're talking about the stability. The stability depends to some extent on which state is more stable. Is the EZ state more stable, or is the liquid water state more stable? And the answer is not so clear. Probably there's an energy barrier between the two of those. And once you cross the energy barrier, you're down at a lower energy level. But which one is higher, which one is lower? You can debate that, but the answer is not so clear. And that will have a lot to do with the longevity of the EZ water.